everyone, welcome to Zeta IES. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic in ancient history and UPSC's all-time favorite, Jainism and Buddhism. So let's begin the class. First, let us discuss briefly few points about Jainism and Buddhism origin, how the religion started, why it started, and what was the societal structure that existed post Vedic period. So these are few points we will discuss in brief. First, let's start. What was the societal structure that existed in post-Vedic period? During the post-Vedic period, the society was divided into four varnas. And these four varnas were assigned well-defined functions like A. Brahmins, they were priests, teacher, B. Kshatriyas, they were warriors, and governed the state, and collected tax from peasants. Third, Vaisyas, they were traders, agriculturists, cattle rearing, and were the principal taxpayers. Fourth, and the last one, Shudras. They were hired laborers, slave, and they served the above three varnas. Three varnas. This was the varna system that existed during the post-Vedic period. Now, what were their functions? Brahmins were priests, teacher, Kshatriyas were warriors. They governed the state and collected tax from peasants. Vaishyas were traders, agriculturists. They were into cattle rearing, all the business, and they were principal taxpayers. Fourth, Sudras, they were hired laborers, slaves, untouchables, and they served the above three varnas. Now, what was the difference in the varna system? The Brahmins Brahmins and Kshatriyas. The Brahmins and Kshatriyas, they were given some privileges. These two, the above two Varnas were given privilege. They demanded gifts, exemptions, land, and the punishment given to them was not strict. The punishment was not strict. This was how the society was divided. Whereas Shudras, they were given no exemptions, were looked down upon. They were looked down and were given strict punishment. Were given strict punishment. The Vaishyas, their status was low in the society. Therefore, these differences in the society created tension in the society. These differences led to tension in the society. Tension in society and created inequality. So, in order to create a balance, to bridge the gap of differences in the society, these Varnas adopted the religion of Jainism and Buddhism, especially the last two Varnas of Vaishyas and Shudras. Kshatriyas also, they opposed the Brahmanical domination. They opposed Brahmanical domination. Vardhaman Mahavira and Gautam Buddha. Both of them belong to this Varna system and they both opposite the Brahmanical domination, the Varna system in the society. Vaishyas, they wanted to improve their status in the society. They wanted to improve their status. That is why they propagated Jainism and Buddhism. And merchants, rich merchants, Sethis, gave generous amount of fund to Jainism, to propagate this religion of Jainism and Buddhism. which will improve their status in the society. Shudras and women they were barred from taking Vedic studies. Therefore, they wanted a religion which treated them equally and gave them their right. That was democratic. This was about the Varna. Now there were people, old-fashioned people, who opposed the new form of luxury lifestyle, luxury lifestyle, new form of property, new form of property, which created suffering and misery amongst the masses. Therefore, they also wanted a religion which would be liberal and simple. Lastly, Buddhist monks and Jain monks, they were not allowed to touch gold and silver, and would ask only that much from patrons, which would keep their body and soul all together. Body and soul all together. Only that much. Therefore, they condemn the new type of lifestyle that was emerging in the Gangetic basin. They also opposed the new materialistic form of life stemming in the Gangetic basin. So they also wanted a simple, liberal, democratic and equal religion. Jainism and Buddhism both propagated equality, liberal, democratic and simple life. Okay. Now let's get into detail about Jainism. As we all know that Jainism was popularized by Vardhaman Mahavira. It gained popularity by Vardhaman Mahavira. Let's discuss a little detail about Vardhaman Mahavira. Who was Vardhaman Mahavira? He was born in 540 BC in a village in a village near Kosala, near Vaishali. Vaishali. His father belonged to a Kshatriya clan. Belonged to Kshatriya clan, and his mother was a Lichavi princess. His mother was a Lichavi princess. He held connections with the royal family of Magad. Connection with royal family of Magad, which helped him in his course of mission to reach the princes and nobles and propagate his religion. In the beginning, Mahavira led a very simple life of a householder. He lived a life of a householder till the age of 30. After 30, he led a life of an ascetic life, and wandered from town to town, village to village, and kept on wandering for almost 12 years. After 12 years, till 12 years, he did not change his clothes, and abandoned them, and he abandoned all his belongings, all his clothes after 12 years when he attained Kaivalya. After 12 years, after Kaivalya, after he attained Kaivalya. Kaivalya, through Kaivalya he conquered misery, he conquered misery and happiness. Therefore, he is known as Jinnah, and his followers are known as Jainas. He propagated his religion for almost 30 years. He propagated his religion for 30 years and died in 468 BC. 468 BC in a place called Pavpuri, near modern Rajgir. He died at the age of 72. 72. At the age of 30, he left his householder life. At the age of 42, he attained Kaivalya, and at the age of 72, he died at a place called Pavpuri near modern Rajgir. Now let us study about the doctrines of Jainism. There are 5 doctrines of Jainism. 1. Do not commit violence. Do not commit violence. Second, do not steal. Third, do not speak a lie. Speak lie. Do not steal property of other property. And fifth, observe continence. Observe continence. That is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya. This last one, observe continence, was added by Vardhaman Mahavira. The rest of the doctrine was added by the predecessors. Therefore, Vardhaman Mahavira added observe continence to the doctrine of Jainism. Contribution of Mahavira, Vardhaman Mahavira in Jainism. First, he added one doctrine, observe continence. Secondly, he asked his followers to discard clothes completely. Discard clothes completely. And on the basis of this, in the later period, Jainism was divided into Digambaras and Shvetambaras. The Digambaras, who do not wear anything and who wore white clothes. Shvetambaras means, Shvet means white, so they wore white clothes. And Mahavira told his followers that through pure and meritorious life, even a person belonging to the lower caste can attain Kaivalya. So he did not discriminate in the caste system. He did not believe in the caste. And he propagated that no ritual was required to attain the freedom from worldly bonds. Okay. So he organized orders. Mahavira organized orders, religious orders which admitted both men and women and people from all the castes, irrespective of sex or caste, people of lower caste also. So these were the contribution of Vardhaman Mahavira in the religion of Jainism. Jainism also believed that Jainism recognized the existence of God, recognize the existence of God. This is one feature that did not exist in Buddhism. Buddhism did not recognize the existence of God. They did not believe, and that was one revolutionary step in ancient history, in the Indian history of religion. Jainism recognized the existence of God, but placed under the Jina, but were placed under Jina. That means Jina was above all. This gave rise to three Ratnas of Jainism. Three Ratnas of Jainism. That is full knowledge, action, and liberation. These are important three Ratnas of Jainism. Now, how Jainism was spread into various places. Spread of Jainism. Spread of Jainism. Jainism was spread in the south, in the west. It was spread in south, west, and East India. Let us study how. But it did not spread to other countries. It was restricted only to India. Unlike Buddhism, which was spread in Southeast Asia, it was spread to Sri Lanka also. Jainism was restricted only to India. The spread of Jainism in Karnataka is contributed to Chandragupta Maurya. In the south, particularly in Karnataka, Jainism was spread by Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya (322 BC to 298 BC), and in Karnataka from 6th century BC onward, numerous Jain establishments called Basadis sprang, which was given by the king for the support of Jainism. Land was given by the king. So this is one reason Chandragupta Maurya, he took Jainism to Karnataka and spread it in Karnataka. Another reason Jainism was spread in south was there was famine after the death of Lord Vardhaman Mahavira. 200 years later, after Vardhaman Mahavira's death, famine took place in Magad. And famine took place in Magad, and lot of followers this famine, it lasted for 12 years. It lasted for 12 years, and lot of Jain followers, they migrated to south under the leadership of Bhadrabahu. Jain followers went to south under the leader of Bhadrabahu, and few followers chose to stay in Magadh under Magadh under the leadership of Sthalabahu. So this might be one reason Jainism spread in the south. In the 2nd and 1st century BC also, in second and 1st century BC, it spread to Tamil Nadu also. Jainism, it spread to Tamil Nadu also. Later, and because of this division of Jain followers also, the southerners are called Digambaras, and the Magadhans are called Svetambaras. So it spread in Karnataka, it spread in south. In 2nd and 1st century BC, it had spread to Tamil Nadu also. In 4th century BC, in 4th century BC, Jainism spread to east. In 4th century BC, it has spread to Kaling. It has spread to Kaling in Odisha. And it enjoyed the patronage of Kaling king Kharavel. It spread in Kalinga in Odisha under the patronage of King Kharavel. In 4th century BC, it spread to Kaling in Odisha under the patronage of King Kharavel. And then in the later centuries, it has spread to south, now it has spread to east, and in the later centuries, Jainism spread to Rajasthan also, west. It spread to Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Malwa. You can say Madhya Pradesh. Lastly, we should talk about contribution of Jainism in the society. Contribution of Jainism in society. Jainism played a very vital role in mitigating. It made first serious attempt to mitigate the evil of Varna system. First serious attempt to mitigate the evil of Varna system. And it also opposed ritualistic Vedic religion, Varna system, order, and opposed ritualistic Vedic religion, as it propagated that through pure and meritorious life one can achieve liberation. So it did not believe in all these ritual that were performed in Vedic period, ritualistic Vedic religion. First, secondly, it discarded the use of Sanskrit and adopted vernacular language Prakrit. It discarded the use of Sanskrit and adopted Prakrit, the language of common people. The language of common people, that was Prakrit. Common people, Prakrit, which helped in the growth of this religion, as many people can connect to it. They could understand the religion, unlike the Sanskrit language, which was restricted only to Brahmins. And this Prakrit language gave rise to a language called Saurasheni. It also, Prakrit led to a language called Saurasheni, which is the mother of Marathi language, So Marathi language was also one contribution, and Jainas also contributed to the growth of Kannada, in which they wrote extensively. So the language, the contribution to the language is, they wrote in Kannada. So they promoted Kannada also. And Jainas literature contains epics, Puran, novels and dramas. They gave us epics, Purans, novels, which contributed to the literature, in Indian history. So they contributed to Indian history, Indian literature, Indian languages also, and they opposed the Varna order. This was about Jainism. Let us start with Buddhism. The second religion, Buddhism. Buddhism was also one very liberal, simple, democratic religion like Jainism. Buddhism was started by Gautam Buddha. Let us know about Gautam Buddha first. Gautam Buddha was born in 563 BC in Sakya Kshatriya family in Kapilavastu. In Sakya Kshatriya family in both Vardhaman Mahavira and Gautam Buddha, they were Kshatriyas in Kapilavastu. which is in presently it is in Nepal. And his father was an elected ruler of Kapilavastu. That means he also belonged to a good reputed family. He also belonged to the royal family like Mahavira. And his mother was princess from Kosala dynasty. His father was an elected ruler, Kapilavastu, and his mother was princess of Kosala 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 dynasty. And he also headed the Republican clan of Sakyas. And headed Republican clan of Sakyas. At the age of 29, Gautam Buddha at the age of 29 left, he was also married, left the life of householder and became an ascetic and he also took long journeys, wandered from place to place and stayed only during the rainy season. And at the age of 35, he attained enlightenment. Under at Bodh Gaya, at a place called Bodh Gaya, under people tree. Therefore, Gautam Buddha is called the enlightened, the Buddha. He got his name Buddha as he was enlightened. Buddha. Buddha the enlightened. He gave his first sermon at Sarnath in Banaras. His first sermon was given at Sarnath in Banaras. And he did not discriminate between rich and poor, men, women, and high and low. And propagated the theory of calmness and love even if somebody is hating you. Gautam Buddha passed away at the age of 80 in 483 BC. Gautam Buddha, he passed away at the age of 80 in 483 BC in place called Kushinagar in eastern UP. In eastern UP. He was born in Kapilavastu and he died in Kushinagar in eastern UP. Let's talk about contribution of Gautam Buddha. Contribution of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha, he was a very keen observer and noticed he noticed every single reality of the day. So he observed the four noble truths of life. They are dukha, samudaya, nirodha, and magga. He was a keen observer which observed the day-to-day reality of life, and he gave this four noble truths: dukha, samudaya, nirodha, magga. This dukha is the suffering, samudaya means desire which leads to suffering, nirodha means end of suffering, end of suffering, end of suffering, and magga means the eightfold path can cause an end to the misery of suffering, can end misery to the realities of life. Eightfold path end can end the cause of suffering. So these are four noble truths: dukha, samudaya, nirodha, magga. And through eightfold path we can end the misery of life. What are these eightfold paths? So he gave this eightfold path known as Ashtangika Marg. Ashtangika Marg also. These eightfold paths are right determination, right observation, right action, right speech, right livelihood, right exercise effort, right memory, and right meditation. I'll just write it down. Right observation, right determination, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right exercise effort, right memory, and right meditation. These are eightfold paths for the elimination of human misery. These can eliminate human misery. Gautam Buddha also told that a person should not avoid the excess, should avoid the excess of both, excess of luxury also and excess of austerity also. Gautam Buddha also told excess of anything, excess of luxury and excess of austerity can cause suffering. A person should avoid both of them, and he prescribed the middle path. For this, he prescribed a middle path and 5 code of conduct, and 5 code of conducts which one should inculcate in life. These are: do not commit violence. Jainism also taught this, that we should not, the gospel of non-violence. Do not commit violence. Do not commit violence. Do not use intoxicants. Do not speak a lie. Do not indulge in corrupt practices, and do not covet the properties of others. Do not indulge in corrupt practices, which was one of the reason of decline in Buddhism, as it could not follow the principles it had given. Do not indulge in corrupt practices. Do not indulge in corrupt practices. The later Buddhism, the reason for decline was that it succumbed to all these things which it had propagated, it has prohibited to do. Do not covet property of others. Do not covet property of others. Do not speak lie. Do not speak lie, and what? Prohibit prohibit the use of intoxicants. So this, the eightfold path, the middle path, the code of conduct are all the contribution that Gautam Buddha has given to Buddhism. Now let us talk about special features of Buddhism and the causes of its spread. Special features and these features which led to the spread of Buddhism and causes of spread. Buddhism does not recognize the existence of God and soul, and this is kind of a revolution in the history of Indian religions. So it does not recognize the existence of, it completely does not recognize the existence of God, Atma, unlike Jainism, which recognizes and places it under Jina. Buddhism was also not enmeshed in the claptrap of philosophies, discussion, and it appealed to the common people. It did not enmesh itself in the claptrap of philosophical discussions, and appealed to common people also. And thirdly, it attacked the Varna system. Therefore, it gained support from the lower from lower Varna system also. People were taken into Buddhist order. Buddhist order allowed all the castes. The caste was not a barrier. All the caste. Women were also admitted to the Sangha, and which brought them at par with men. Women were also admitted at Sangha, which brought them at par with men. And Brahman, in comparison with Brahmanism, Buddhism was liberal and democratic also. Buddhism made appeal to people of non-Vedic region, where it made appeal to non-Vedic region, where it found a virgin soil to convert people. Soil to convert. Lot of people responded. Lot of people in Magad responded to Buddhism. Responded as they were looked down upon by Brahmins, and Buddha tried to fight evil by goodness, hatred and love, and hatred by love. Buddhism was known to common people as it propagated its doctrine in the language of Pali. Pali was also a common language. In Jainism, Prakriti was used, and in Buddhism, Pali was used. Common language. Gautam Buddha organized Sangha, where any person, irrespective of caste and sex, can attend this Sangha. And the three main elements were Sangha, Dhamma and Buddha. In Sangha, Gautam Buddha told about these three elements of Buddhism, that is Sangha, Dhamma and Buddha. In the later period, the monarchies of Magad, Kosala and Kosambi also adopted this religion. So it was present in Magad, Kosambi, lot of people from Magad, Kosambi, Kosala adopted Buddhism, and 200 years later, after the death of Buddha, after 200 years of death of Buddha, after his death, famous Mauryan king Ashoka, through his agents, he spread Buddhism, he adopted Buddhism, and through agents, adopted Buddhism, and through his agents it spread to West Asia, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia. Therefore, Buddhism was spread out of India also by famous Mauryan king Asoka. It was, and even today, Sri Lanka, Burma, Tibet, and parts of China and Japan profess Buddhism. Buddhism was transformed into a world religion by Ashoka and it has spread to Burma, Sri Lanka, Tibet, parts of China and Japan. Till now, Buddhism is professed here. Now let us talk about the causes of decline in Buddhism. Causes of decline of Buddhism. Buddhism during 12th century AD, it practically disappeared from India. The reason being, it succumbed to rituals and ceremonies it originally denounced. It succumbed to rituals and ceremonies it originally denounced. Secondly, it also became evil of Brahmanism, as Brahmins also amended few patterns, few rituals, also amended few rituals and transformed themselves, like the preserving cattle wealth and assured women and Shudras for heaven. Assured women and Shudras for admission to heaven. Buddhist monks, they were also cut off. Buddhist monks were cut off from the daily life of people, and they started using Sanskrit, which led to its decline, its popularity, as it was not reaching the common people. And from 1st century AD, Buddhist monks started worshipping, started doing worshipping idol on large scale, and large amount of offerings were given to them, which made Buddhist monks life easy. Therefore, they did not put any effort to propagate Buddhism like Gautam Buddha, who conducted sanghas, religious orders. Around 7th century AD, Buddhist centers became center of corrupt practices, which was prohibited in the code of conduct, that do not conduct corrupt practices. Around 7th century AD, Buddhist centers became center of corrupt practices. And sixthly, the new form of Buddhism, Vajrayana, allowed the admission of women in the monasteries, which led to its further degeneration. In Buddhist monastery, leads to its further degeneration. Lastly, as Buddhist monasteries were given huge offerings and were supplemented with lot of goods, lot of money, huge offerings, it attracted Turkish invaders, and Turkish invaders killed large number of Buddhist monks in Nalanda, and Turkish invaders killed large number of Buddhist monks, and these Buddhist monks, they flew to places like Nepal, Tibet, and as a result, by 12th century AD, Buddhism disappeared from the land of its origin. Around 12th century AD, Buddhism disappeared from the land of its origin. Now let's end the topic. We will just go through some similarity which were common in Jainism and Buddhism. So, both of them opposed Brahmanical orthodoxy, orthodoxy, and propagated ethical living, ethical living. Secondly, they contributed to new form of art and architecture in the form of temple, stupas, and language. Thirdly, they promoted vernacular language, Marathi, Kannada. They promoted vernacular language of Pali and Prakrit, Okay. And they influenced society with emphasis on society with the gospel of non-violence, code of conduct, and equality. These were few similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. First, we read about how it started, why it started, what was the societal structure in post-Vedic period, then how Jainism started, who was Vardhaman Mahavira, and how Jainism spread in India, what is the contribution of Jainism in Indian history, how Buddhism came into the existence, Gautam Buddha, how it started, how it spread to other parts of India and across the world, becoming a world religion, causes of its decline, and similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. It is a relevant topic for prelims. Please do read it. I hope this helps, and happy learning. बंद करो.